Welcome to Boo&Tictic first watercolor lesson. My name is Nora. Today's lesson is for absolute beginners. So if you have no experience with watercolor, this is the class for you. You will learn how to control your paint with water, and you will learn brush control. I will show you step by step. It's very easy. I'm going to show you how to paint this beautiful floral arrangement. It is in a flat design art style, minimalist, graphic, controlled and modern, with clean lines and crisp edges, and beautiful colors. You will need this template from Boo&Tictic.ca, design number 2307. This template is one of two for a promotional price of $2 Canadian. First, you will need to transfer the template onto your watercolor paper. I have a video on the 3 methods to transfer templates onto your watercolor paper. A link to that video is in the description box below. Here I have the line drawing transferred onto my watercolor paper. I have my double sheet of paper towel, clean water, Mei Liang watercolor, and I'm using the brush that comes with it. Get a spare piece of watercolor paper. This will be your sacrificial test paper. This sheet alone will last you many paintings to come. Let's start. Swirl your brush in the clean water. Run it along the side of the jar once. With your wet brush, pick up number 502, top row, first on the right. If you're using your own watercolor and not Mei Liang, this is permanent rose. Mix the paint on the palette. Add some water. We need the color to be light. With watercolor, if you need the color to be light, you need to add more water to get the desired paleness of the color. Let's pick up some paint and we'll start with this first petal here. Starting from the outside edge of the petal, paint towards the center. Move the paint down. Take your time and move the paint towards the middle of the flower. You will see there's more watercolor concentrated here. If it's too much, dab your brush on the paper towel. Then come back and drink up the excess paint. Leave a small puddle there. With your brush, now take a lick of paint, number 502, and drop it to the very bottom of the petal like this in dots. Now your first petal is painted. Wash your brush, dry it against the paper towel, dabbing it 4 times to get rid of excess water, and pick up more paint. Now you're going to paint the second petal, but leaving one in between so you're actually painting the third petal. Same way as the last one, so you're going to be painting from the outside edge of the petal in towards the center of the flower. Just as before, if there's too much paint at the bottom of the petal, remember to dry your brush on the paper towel, go back, drink some of it up, and redistribute the paint. Then just take a lick of 502 and drop that concentrated paint at the bottom of the petal. Now I'm going to speed this painting up. You take your time and enjoy painting all these petals. I just don't want you to get bored and fall asleep. Remember always to wash your brush every time you finish with each single petal, because the last thing that you do before you finish is picking up extra color to drop at the end of the petal. If you don't wash your brush and you go back and pick up more color, that color will be tainted with extra pigment and will be darker. And we want to keep all this petal very light in color, with only the center bit slightly darker. Now the first flower is finished, we're gonna work on the blue flower. So wash your brush, and the blue is number 139, so it's in the middle row, 5th from the left. Pick up some color and mix it on the palette. Add some water to it. Now we're gonna test it on the paper to see if we have the desired lightness that we want, and we do. So we'll start with the blue. We're not going to paint the petals that's touching the pink flower, and we'll start with this one here, painting from the outside of the petal, and we're going to work the color down just as the last few petals that we have done already. Move the paint downwards, and when you get to the very bottom of the petal, towards the center, pick up a lick of 139 and drop it at the end there in little dots. Remember to wash your brush, dab it 4 times, and pick up more paint and continue, leaving one petal in between, and work all your way around. As it happens, I ran out of the blue. I didn't mix enough. Bad Nora. So I'm just gonna make some more. So you can see if that happens to you, no big deal. Just mix more. And then what you do is you test it and make sure that it is as close to the shade as the one you mixed before. Now the flowers are painted, we're gonna move on to the leaves. We're gonna pick up some 599, bottom row, first from the left. And we're gonna mix it. And this time we don't need the color to be thin. So we need it to be quite thick. So not quite so much water. So now we're gonna test it. That seems too light. I'm picking up more color to mix it in, to make it thicker. Now that is right. Now we're going to flip the paper upside down so the flowers are on top. We don't really want to touch the flowers in case if they're still wet. So we're going to paint the leaves as shown in the instruction, where it is meant for the 599. So we'll pick up the 599 and start painting from top and smooth the paint down towards the tip of the leaf. We don't have to worry about keeping the paint thin or evenly distributed. We just paint it and leave the puddles as they are. There's no need to wash your brush in between leaves. Just pick up more color and paint the next one. Now when all the leaves for 599 are completed, we are going to pick up some 341, which is in the middle row on the far right. This is a very light green, and again we do not want it too thin, so we don't want too much water, we want it thick enough. This is just right. Before we start painting again, we better make sure the first set of leaves are completely dry. Let's pick up some 341 and we'll start with the leaf that's underneath the pink flower. As you saw, I dabbed my brush on the paper towel to get rid of some of the paint. Because this is a very small area, the leaf is obscured by two of the pink petals, so we don't want too much paint on our brush to maneuver around and paint this leaf here. So slowly we'll paint this leaf, and once it's done we can drop some extra colors into it if you want to. Now we'll paint the leaf that's underneath the blue flower. Again, it has a small surface area, so I dab some of the paint off the brush and I work on that leaf. That leaf is obscured by two of the petals. Slowly does it. Not too much paint so you can control the paint better, and just work around those petals and paint that leaf. When that leaf is completed, you can pick up more color and drop it in. Now we're going to mix some 076 for the center of the two flowers. So this is at the bottom row, fourth from the right. If you're using your own watercolor, this is known as burnt sienna. Not too much water, you need this quite thick. So pick up some 076, not too much on the brush, because this is a very small area you're painting in, and you do need control, especially with this brush, which doesn't seem to go round circles very well. So just slowly dab it and paint it. I find that it's best to hold the brush in this small little area, kind of vertical, and you will have better control of it. Next thing is to dry the entire painting, either naturally or with the help of a hairdryer. Make sure it's completely dry. Next we will use our Amazon Basics Premium color pencils. We'll work on the pink flower first, so with hot pink, we'll draw a line down the center from the outside of the petal in towards the center of the flower, like this. Then with a hot pink color pencil, we'll go over the outline of the petal. We'll do the same for the second one, and I noticed some untidiness there. So the good thing about the color pencil is that you can clean up all the edges. We do the center line first because we use that as a guide to make it easier for you to fill the rest of the lines in. For the blue flower, we will use light blue color pencil, again with a line right down the middle to begin with, used as a guide for you to fill all the other lines in for the petal. Now we're going to dress up the centers of these two flowers. I'll show you on a spare piece of paper, and I'll use this marker, and let's pretend that's the center of one of the flowers. First, we draw a plus sign across the circle, and then an X. So with each one of this pie shape, we halve them again, either with a line going in or coming out, dividing each pie into two. Now let's apply that to our painting with our Uni-Ball Signo white gel pen. With the Uni-Ball Signo pen, draw the lines without pressing down hard. Let the ball in the nib to rotate and let the ink flow. And use a slower stroke so the ink does not skip. If the tip of the pen is clogged, just clean it with a paper towel. Now all the lines are drawn. Finish by drawing a bubble on the tip of each line like this. With the white Signo pen, we're going to work and decorate the lighter color leaves painted in 3-4-1. Draw the midrib of the leaf and then add the veins. Now we'll decorate the leaves painted in 599. With green Amazon Basic color pencils, draw the midrib and then add the veins. With the green color pencil, outline the leaf. With Amazon Basics Premium Colored Pencil, in yellow-green, outline the lighter color leaves. With the same yellow-green, go over the stems. With Amazon Basics Premium Colored Pencil, in brown ochre, go over the stems again. This finished painting is 8 inches by 8 inches, and I'm framing mine with an IKEA frame. Lomviken. I'm sorry, I'm likely mispronounced it. It's 12.5 inches by 12.5 inches with a mat of 8 inches by 8 inches. I got this on special for $14.99. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and I thank you very much. I'll see you the next time. Goodbye.